Good morning. Wednesday morning from headquarters. I am joined today by Kevin and Jason, Master Advisors, everyone knows and loves. And we're going to talk about the all new Sales Warrior that really Kevin has been working and busting his ass on for the last, couple months?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
So we're in day two. Day one was hugely successful. We are super excited that our wonderful warriors are going to be walking through the door soon. So Kevin, what prompted you to put together a Sales Warrior 2.0?
Well, I think when you ask our members and they give you the feedback that they can't continue to see the same information and try and get different results, pretty sure that's the definition of insanity. When they see that, when we hear that, we have to make changes and we have to stay ahead of the times. So it's our jobs as advisors and people who are kind of captaining the ship of CEO Warrior to manage that, find experts in the field that can tell us how to make sure that we have the best information for our members. We can show them the best information to overcome some of the objections that they're hearing because it's different than it was 6 months ago. What they see in the field, what they have as far as options with financing and value-driven propositions, and just a number of things that we spent time finding out what those are and then driving the training towards that so that it's not the same training over and over and over again. It's actually goes right with the times as the times move.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about what you've done here also is you've incorporated our new partners as well. So we talk about the financing, we talk about how we've always done some kind of role play about how to offer financing, but now you've incorporated what new partnerships that we have with the finance teams. And yesterday was a feedback loop, really was all about, wow, this was so engaging. You've done such an amazing job in taking what we're facing right now. I mean, I think some of the last shares last night were really, and when we went out last night was really about how what you've done now is changing the gears towards economic factors, towards family lifestyle, really looking at it from a different spectrum. And I think what is so cool about CEO Warriors, we're always innovative. We're all, right now in where we sit, we keep changing the shift, right? Like
Yep.
we're pulling on the pattern
You have
of
to. You have to, right?
yeah. Talk about that a little bit, Jay.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about these trainings a little bit too, because Kevin's too humble.
Yeah, I agree.
This is our third training. Two of them were virtual. It's our first live. And to Kevin's point, we decided we were going to try to improve things and up level things, right? And he's done he's done an amazing job. So we've had a phone warrior, a dispatch warrior, virtual. Now we're doing sales warrior, all up leveled, all upgraded to keep up with the times. Because if you don't, you get left behind, right? And he's not going to tell you those things because he's too humble. So I wanted to make sure we spoke on that. We're doing a lot of different things here now. We're doing a lot of upgrading of things, up leveling. Just making, and Kevin made a great point. Like, our members are telling us what they want and we're giving it to them, right? We ask and we give it to them. So that's what's been great over the last several months is just the upgrades and the up levels that we've made.
I think it's super important that we realize, we always ask for feedback, but actually taking that feedback and really incorporating it into how you guys are training, teaching, advising. We always say to our clients, and I say to my prospects too as well, we're not a therapy session, right? You guys are following timelines. You're following along a path. Like, so just every training that you're actually instructing right now is about a path. And I feel as if where in the past, we may have left a training and then why do people fail? What did we say yesterday?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. What we've heard in the past, and I lived it. I mean, we were members for a very long time with previous company I worked for. As a member, one of our hardest things to do was to take the training that was always good, take the training and then incorporate that back in
Mm-hmm.
our
keep it
world,
going.
right?
Keep the motivation going.
Keep that motivation going. Keep that,
always
and we've
the
tried a
same.
lot of different things. We had an in-house CEO warrior liaison. Like we had someone that we appointed, and that he was in charge of keeping it going. We've tried a lot of different things, and with talking with some experts from the field, and consulting with people to make sure that we are ahead of the game. One of the things that was so simple was make them walk away with a game plan.
Yeah.
Actually walk away with, here is your game plan, step by step. And then one of the things that I've incorporated is after every training, I check in with the people who went to it. Yes. Is that additional work for us? Absolutely. You know, how many people went to Phone Warrior? A lot.
Yeah.
It was a virtual one, but I have now checked in with every single one of those individuals that went and made sure that with the commitments they made at the end of that, they're following through on.
Yeah.
But I
And-
also feel as if Kevin, and it is additional work, but I also feel that that was one of the missing components. And I
It
feel
was a
as if
big
in the
missing
training
component, for sure.
industry as a whole, and coming as a coach, and being in this industry for 20 years for me, outside of Warrior, people fail because they are not held accountable.
Yeah.
So now you've up-leveled that accountability factor where I feel as if those monthly calls, those abilities to call you and say, Kevin, people are sending us their calls. Listen to this, please.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? You've taken this from where it was, which again was always good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you've taken it. So for those of you who are watching out there, when you think about how you want to learn and what you need to engage yourselves with, because your life is extremely chaotic as a business owner, we've operated independently regardless. Like, we have sustainability. Our factors here are, how do we thrive without one another being in the picture all the time? As a lack of leadership, whatever it looks like on our end, we've always come out on top. And that's because these guys have set up our advisory team between Jason's client journey, Kevin's new 2.0 trainings. Everything that we're doing here is to stay progressive and to be the best of the best in the industry.
Yeah.
So where do you feel that CEO Warrior is going? Where are we headed? What do you two see as down the path, right? Where are we going, and what's the next year look like?
Yeah.
What's that timeline?
So I'm
great
gonna add something to that Kevin said, and Sandy both said it as well. Like, you can go to anywhere and go to these big motivational meetings, right, and come out motivated and be on fire. But then what happens when you get back, right? And that's something that we've really, Kevin mentioned, this is something we've really tried to focus on, is how do we continue the motivation when you get back, right? How do we hold them accountable to that? Because that's not something you get. That's not something you get in the industry, right? You get all these big speakers, whatever, and yeah, they get you on fire, and then you go back and you're back to the day-to-day grind. So where are we going in the next year? I mean, we're continuously, Kevin's upgrading all the trainings. Like Sandy said, we've created a client journey, right? From day one to all the way through the 3-year journey, right? That's what you're gonna do every single 90 days until it's done. So it's really just mapping out, and what's gonna come in the next year, we don't know. It's gonna be whatever our clients want,
Yeah.
right? We're gonna continue to get feedback, and we're gonna continue to understand. And one thing that we always talk about is, when you ask, you gotta truly listen. And that's something that we've done. And that's something we'll continue to do, and we'll continue to upgrade based on what our clients need.
Well, yeah, and I think being able to be an organization like ours that can pivot with the needs of our clients and our members
Absolutely.
is phenomenal. You know, it is not a canned approach.
Right.
It is not, here's a process, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? We have processes for
Yeah.
things. We definitely will share, but it's way more than the process. It's the accountability to the process. It's the leadership that you need in order to make the process work. So the accountability on the delivery and the productivity of that, like, all those things have to come into play. It's not just, here's this package, go. And so I'm going to return the favor to Jason here for a second. Also being very humble. The owner's journey is something that we have shared with even people outside of our world that have been hugely successful in home services. bought and sold multiple companies, and have done wonderful things in the home services world, not only for themselves and their family and created generational wealth, but they've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people live better lives. We showed this journey, this roadmap, if you will, to them, and they were blown away. And they said, missing link.
It's what I've been asking for.
It
since
is
the
a
day I
missing
walked in here.
link that a lot of people don't see, is we can take you from day one all the way through 3 years with a step-by-step, and it will show you everything you need to do to, what were the 3 things?
What were the 3 things?
What are the 3 things? Dominate?
Calibrate.
Calibrate, accelerate, dominate.
Calibrate, accelerate, and dominate.
Put me on the spot there.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It works.
Yeah.
We're live.
Yeah,
Kid.
that
Don't
wasn't
don't put me
scripted.
on the spot.
Yeah, that's right. We have to have the script thing up. Yeah, so I mean, you think about that. You calibrate yourself, you accelerate, and then you dominate. Love that challenge to any company that isn't there right now.
Yeah.
If it's that, and it's not simple, but those simple terms of calibrate your business, accelerate your business, then dominate the market. I know if I had a company, that's exactly what I would want to hear. And I'd want to say, and how do you do that? Well, great. Here's your roadmap. Here are the people that are absolutely 100% involved in your success here.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not going to give you this document and say good luck.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the fear of the unknown is, and the skepticism that goes on as a business owner. You know, when you have this drive and you take this risk to open your own business, but the missing element is this roadmap. It is these trainings, and it's the accountability factor of how to incorporate the trainings into your everyday life. That goes with anything. You go to the gym, it's the same thing. You see a dietitian, and we don't necessarily, as humans, want to feed off of the guy with the perfect body, and we have to look at him and he talks about his training routine. I want to know how you got there. I want to know the simple steps that it took for me. If I want that to be my model of what I want for my life, and I think that's what you guys have done with these trainings and with the roadmap, was say, we're modeling after the success of the people that have
Absolutely.
come before
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And this is what they did in order to get them to that point.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other motivational events, and we've all been there for we're not spring chickens. So we've all gone to other motivational events and we see success and almost feel so far reaching. Now we've given you a chance to pull back the curtain and say, take one step at a time, right? This isn't about multi-millions. This is about tomorrow.
Right.
Well, and I
Right?
think there's a nice component to Jason and I working so closely with each other, is that the owner's journey and the trainings and the accountability to both
Tied together.
all tie together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so there isn't a step in this process from day one through, and it doesn't have to stop at day 303
Oh,
years, sorry,
no.
at 3 years, right? It doesn't stop there. I mean, again, the previous company I worked with, we were members for a very long time and had a tremendous amount of success in CEO Warrior.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the success I've had in my career is attributed to things I learned. Well, not specifically in this room, but a different room. But in here. And so, if you wanted to ask me what motivates me, that motivates me.
Absolutely.
Because if I can get someone to take away even half of what I was able to take away and had that professional growth, then I've been successful.
Yeah.
And when we walk in and we see this later on this morning, and we see people walk in, and we'll get tears, and we'll get hugs, and we'll get
Many
thank yous,
fist bumps.
lots and lots of fist bumps, right? And they'll come in and they'll talk about how transformational yesterday was for them.
transformational is a good word.
They're mind blown. They're outside of their comfort zone. They're getting comfortable with being uncomfortable yesterday. It's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it feels really good that the 3 of us, were able to deliver that to them. And we just got started yesterday.
Yeah.
Today is even
Day
more,
one's always
and
a-
Thursday is even more. So it's super exciting. And then that's just this one little sales warrior, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
one part of now we're up to 22 trainings.
Yeah.
But I think what you guys have done is you've taken what's worked, and we've combined it with transforming them as well. This isn't just when you come to a training. If you don't shift your way of thinking,
Yeah.
right? Like that's a lot of the work that we do too, and I think that's what differentiates us in the industry is that, coming from a mindset perspective and working with people, because you can't just change someone in one area. How you do one thing is how you do everything. We need to shift them in perspective, and I know it worked for us. I mean, I think one of the best things that Brian Burton and Nate, what they did when Waste No Day was they asked me a question at the end, which was, talk to us about a time when it wasn't successful.
Yeah.
And I feel as if that's really important because not everyone starts out successful, or we have dips in the way. So we're not some iconic people standing on stage being like, oh, look at me, this is where I got myself. Yeah, there were dips and then there were valleys, just like people that are part of our world.
Well, yeah, when we humanize ourselves up on stage, I mean, none of us are going up there to beat our chest and talk about how wonderful we are. There's just as many lessons, if not more lessons, to be learned from failure than there is from success.
That's where I learned most of my lessons.
Exactly. I got the bruises, and again, previous company, things we did right were awesome.
Yeah.
The things we did wrong, it's only a failure if we didn't
became
learn from
awesome.
them. Yeah. We
some
just,
point.
and I had some great mentorship in that previous company, and that's some of the things we learned was, you get to a point where you learn if you fail or if you make a mistake, it's only a failure if you don't learn from it, right? So you learn from it. Don't do it again. Or, well, we tried and that didn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Where do most processes come from?
Failure.
Yeah, from failure.
Something that was messed up, we had to fix it.
Right. And then you want the process.
You
so that
recalibrate.
you don't want to continue to do the same mistake over and over and over again, because now you have something that says, hey, last time we went down this road, it sucked.
Yeah.
It was bumpy as hell. We don't have to go down that road.
Let's not do that
Yeah,
again.
let's go straight instead of make the right-hand turn.
Yeah, but at least you're willing to take the risk. I think that's what's so for us three, we're always saying, let's try this. Let's put ourselves out there and do it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, we know that we have another avenue to go down. I think the ingenuity is what makes us so special as a group, is that we keep trying different things. We keep thinking outside the box, right? We never stay on the same path because life is forever changing. So we're constantly growing. We're constantly working towards what's next.
Yep.
And staying, you can call it best practice, but isn't habits that you indoctrinate into your life a best practice? Isn't it a life? It's consistency and discipline.
Yeah, it's all about consistency.
So it's really kind of cool. And I think, again, we frame in 2.0, the owner's journey, how we transform your mind, your body, your life, your family. I mean, we change people's families' lives here. I think that's what's so interesting. When you look at the perspective of when Kevin's on stage, he's not changing the person that's in their seat. He's identifying how is this going to affect the people that you love and care for. Never mind your company. Never mind you. But how's it going to affect the people that are in your world?
And I
Why
think,
are we working?
I think one of the things that's really nice about working with the three of us is we actually care about the people in the room.
Yeah.
We care about our members. We care about their success. We care about their family's success. We're in this process with them. We're in this growth with them, and so we don't want to see failure. So we work our tails off to make sure that they have the success.
Absolutely.
But again, it's all about implementation, right? We can give as many documents and procedures and processes as we want. It's all about implementation.
Absolutely.
So when boil it down, we hold people accountable to do the right thing in their business on a regular basis, but not out of an authoritative standpoint. From we care and we're built into your company because we want to see you succeed.
You guys have
they
no
still have to
ego
do the
to
work.
this.
They
You have no
to do the
ego.
work.
So why would someone not be successful following?
Not putting the work in.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
that's-
only.
that's
That's
an
the only
easy,
way.
yeah. The
That's
only
way.
the only failure, 100%. The only
it's
failure
proven.
is not.
It's proven over the 10 years we just took what's been successful and mapped it out.
Yep.
Right, we did the case studies.
Yeah, and the thing,
looked at the patterns.
one thing that we did as a new onboarding, as people come in here now, is we're not just going to give you this roadmap and say, here, go do this, right? We're one-on-one support with you along the way. And at the beginning of this, we're going to do analysis of your business. We're going to do a SWOT analysis of the main 6 areas of your business, because what we want to do is when people come in and join us, they're probably having some sort of issue, right? Cash flow, marketing, hiring problems, whatever that is, right? What's the main thing you want to focus on before we really get started? Right, before we start building that foundation and we do the calibration, right? Let's fix some shit first.
Yeah.
Right, because somebody's coming in with cash flow issues, they don't want to start working on their fundamentals
And that's
just
a
yet.
symptom, not
right,
the root cause,
right.
right?
They don't want to start working on their fundamentals just yet because they don't have money. Right, so we want to address that problem right off the bat before we even get into building your fundamentals. Then then they can really focus on what needs to be done. And the only way they won't be successful is if they don't do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and you hear often, very often I hear, when I was with XYZ Group, one of the challenges I had is they had all these resources, but no explanation on how to do it.
Right.
No roadmap on what order to do it.
And no support.
Right. And it was very
A
much
therapy session.
Yeah.
It was therapy, and it was reactive. What's your problem? Let's fix it right now.
Let's fix that problem
What's
today.
your problem this week? Let's fix that this week.
Yes.
And then there was no sustainability
That's what I
to
mean by
that.
therapy.
Right. So then you were just patching a broken
And
foundation.
that's where
You're filling the leaky
that's where the
holes.
calibrate stage comes in, right? You're able to calibrate your business before you accelerate, because too many times as entrepreneurs, new business owners, we want to go, right? Push on the gas, let's go make a bunch of money, and revenue is just, it's vanity, right? We got to have profitability. Right? You'll hear me talk about this all the time. Sustainability and profitability. Sustainability comes with profit, right? Revenue means nothing if you're not making any money, right? So we got to build. So that's where the calibration stage comes in, and a lot of time our new members, we got to pull them back because they're like, give me this, I want to do this, I want to do that. So we're like, no, we know at what level you need to make these moves. So just slow down, relax, right? And work, and just trust us on this.
So I have one more thing I wanted to add before we go, because we've got work to do today. Kevin, talk to us a little bit about the next level and about the peer-to-peer group and something else you've created. I think it's really at the level where those members are at this point. What's a peer-to-peer group?
So our peer-to-peer group is a invitation group that we have within our membership that comes at a certain level of how well the company is being run, which is interpreted many different ways, but are you doing a lot of the right things? Are you at a position where you're able to hear a higher level conversation? Because again, having a high level conversation with someone who needs to hear something in the middle right now to get their company ready, it's going to get lost in translation. So we have a group of people that we meet once a month, and we bring in an expert from the field, and they talk about one subject at a time, and the subject is driven by the group itself. And they say, you know what we're struggling with? X. And I go out and I find the expert in X, and they come in and they talk for 2 hours once a month. And it was similar to some of the things that we did previously, as we had some levels within our company, and we as an organization that was a member benefit from it very well. And so as the time grew and I decided that this was something, and some of our members were very passionate about us doing this as well, and they're on this call every month, very active in the call. They were passionate about putting this thing together. So it's a great way for groups of people, similar size, similar stages in their growth, similar abilities to where they want to go next in the next 2, 3, 4 years, that are getting some phenomenal advice from not only us, but experts in the field from whatever that problem is that they want.
Yeah, I think one of the feedback loops that I heard was and I took my takeaways, when you were doing some of your follow-up and from your peer-to-peer the other day, which I learned from, and really it's a high-level mastermind for all intent and purposes. But what I heard was, you're not alone. You don't feel alone,
Yeah.
right? It's community. And I think, people talk about cult, but cult is culture. And what you guys have done is taken our culture and you've shifted the gears a little bit to create a different kind of community.
Oh, I mean, it's funny. I always laugh when people say when people refer to organizations as a cult.
Culture.
Is it a cult? Because I've worn this around my wrist for 8 years, and like I say all the time, not the same one. That's gross.
Yeah.
Community.
But I've worn this around my wrist, and I remember what I did to earn this. Some of the things that transformed in me, mindset, specifically mindset that comes to mind right now, and why I have this. And this is a tool for me. Okay, I use this as a tool, and I remember why I have this. And good times, bad times, in different times, if I need motivation, this motivates me, right? And if that means it's a cult,
Whatever.
So
who
be
cares?
it.
Like, who gives a shit?
We're not
Like,
cutting up chickens out
yeah.
there.
No
I mean, let's not
sacrifices.
talk about what we're doing for motivation
Yeah.
tonight, all right? So let's not get ahead of ourselves. No, but that we have heard that in the past, and you know what? So was my family at
But
times,
cult
right?
is culture. And my
Yeah.
look, listen, I'm all about culture. And I think that the driving force behind the success that we're having right now is because of our culture.
Right.
The shifts, the changes, the outlook that we have. I think, there's synergy and people feel that. I mean, the outpouring of love last night from a place of people who are genuinely shifting before our eyes.
Yeah.
And we want nothing but that for all of our
Yep.
members.
Yeah.
So
It's incredibly humbling to get messages from our members, some that have been in our world for a while, some that are brand new to
and
our
without
world.
you actually having to ask for
Not asking
Unsolicited.
for it. They're coming out and they're producing full-on marketing videos
Yeah.
to talk about how wonderful their connection with us is, and how in a short period of time they've transformed their company. And then you hear about other companies that say, while we're sitting there, that they dedicate 3 hours a week just to CEO Warrior. It's a lot of pressure, first of all.
Absolutely, it is.
and I think all three of us take it without a stride, right? Without skipping a stride. And it's an honor to do it. But the fact of the matter is, that's pretty awesome to hear. That companies are taking that much pride in what we're doing, and they're really implementing it in their business. And the wonderful thing is, when we do take a step back and look at their business and say, wow, in 6 months, a year, 3 years,
Yeah, it's nice
look
to
at your
see.
growth. And financial growth, financial well-being, which is what you were talking about a minute ago.
Profitability growth.
Profitability, not just, hey, I'm at 10 million and I'm losing money, right? It's really good, healthy business. Leaders are growing within the organization. We celebrated last night one of our members that hit an all-time high
Yeah.
in our world,
Yep.
and that was super exciting. And this member's been here for been in our world for a couple of years.
Yeah, and he was super
And-
stoked about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying we didn't bro hug. I'm just saying that,
We
that
did.
whatever. But that's super exciting, and a company that we all spend time with,
Absolutely.
to have that level of success and have that, and watch the owner sit there with literally beaming with pride over his
But
company.
here's the thing: they did the work,
Absolutely,
right?
100%.
We've been there step by step, all of us, with them. They've done the works, and
100%.
that's why we're super proud of them, because we've seen them develop from
It personally as well.
absolutely. We've seen them develop over the last couple of years of just to where they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, where they were to where they are now has been phenomenal.
I love
Yeah.
watching the shifts.
Yep. No, it's
So,
awesome.
so last comment each. If you were in the world out there choosing, a training and accountability group for the trades, why do you think we stand out as premier, especially today, because the market's flooded
Sure.
and
Yeah.
there's confusion as
Yeah.
to who to choose? Well, why do you two think that, and not just because of the two of you? As advisors.
Obviously.
I was gonna say, what else do you need?
Well, that's a component.
I-
But why would you come to us?
I'd say my biggest thing is we know what works. We have the journey mapped out. We've all done it. We've all lived it. We've seen it, right? We've seen it happen. It's mapped out now. And the thing that sets us apart is we're in this journey side by side
Yeah.
with our people. I mean, Kevin mentioned this earlier, where you can go places, get a book, a manual, right? You can't have one-on-ones with your advisor whenever you want, right? You don't have access to their calendars where you can book meetings anytime you want. So I think that's the key. I mean, the first 90-day onboarding, it's a weekly meeting with all the new onboarding people, and we go step by step by step, week over week for 13 weeks, right? And it's mapped out completely, and we're there right there, we're basically holding your hand right through there. So I think that's one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah, and I would say 100% agree. One-on-one advisement, really having someone, and it doesn't, one-on-one doesn't mean just me, Jason, or Sandy, right? We have our strengths.
Absolutely.
And if they need to lean on one of our strengths, they do that. Having that ability to reach out to one of the three of us, depending on what their need is, and us really walking them through that journey of success, and once again, caring about it, caring about what the result is at the end, not just check a box that I helped that person.
Right.
I think that's a huge separator for us, and that's what we hear a lot from our current
And
members.
not from your own ego standpoint.
No,
for-
100%
right?
not. The other piece is, I think, our collective experience. The number of years we've been in home services in various leadership roles, we've seen the good, we've seen the bad, we've seen the things that don't work, and us being able to deliver that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say I think the training set us apart.
Absolutely.
We hear, Thursday at some point, people will be coming out of this. We'll be winding down our training. Probably not the greatest way to say it, winding up our training because they're leaving.
Yeah.
And what will happen? We'll get a bunch of people who comes up to us and says, "Hey, I went to XYZ sales training or service tech training, whatever you want to call it. This was so much different. I love this. I changed me in this, not just the process of running a call, leadership training, operational training, all these other things that we do where we are dialed into every single person that's sitting in this room it has to be a separator for us."
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today.
Thanks
this
for
was
having us.
super
Thanks for having us.
fun.
It's been a good time.
Let's go eat some breakfast now.
Yes.
Very
and
good.
Get
Sounds
to
good.
training.
All
So
right, guys.
that's a wrap today, and look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday,
See ya.
which we'll actually be leaving the summer, right? That's it. It's a
Yeah.
wrap. It's a wrap for summer
Training
too.
season starts.
Training season
Crazy,
starts.
crazy.
So come and join us. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day.
See ya. Great job.